Okay, we are videotaping. Oh, I moved this. For now, we're to put that in the right place, and I moved it. Anyways, hi, David Akrish, back again from Black Dragon, Modern Combat, where tradition becomes evolution. And I am going over 20 different key principles. If you're new here, welcome. Nice to see you. And I want to hear from you. I'm going over 20 key principles of the Mook Jong after my many decades of working with multiple different types of Mook Jongs and different systems. Especially the two Kung Fu systems would be Wing Chun. Of course, everybody, it's like the craze now. But I don't know why Charlie Futt isn't. Charlie Futt's absolutely amazing, so if you have a chance, look into it, what it's about. And anyway, so Charlie Futt uses multiple types of Mook Jongs and ideas. So what I did actually here is I took off an arm and I kind of Charlie Futt the Wing Chun dummy, because you can, I don't like saying dummy, I keep saying that. Anyways, it's not a dummy. It's probably my best friend. So don't want to be best friends with a dummy. By the way, a couple things. Always have great music. So I can tell you the music I listen to if you're ever interested. Somebody asked. But anyways, so great music. It's nice when you're training. And a shout out to Simply Stupid. This one goes out to you. So great guy. So anyways, so this number 5 of the key principles, and each one is kind of, are they going in a specific order? Somewhat. I mean, I didn't just like randomly write down the list, but they're all important, they're all different. The last 2 kind of grouped together, which was sensitivity, strength, structure, and speed. Okay, so those are kind of mental. This one's a little more physical, and this definitely is for a beginner. I'm really promoting, or I wouldn't be doing this, the belief of the Mook Jong for anybody. It isn't for Chinese styles, it's for any style, someone who wants to enhance their game. I believe it's one of the parts of one of the 4 corners of training, and I'm reading so much stuff now, and oh my goodness, you can just get pulled in, and I try not to get pulled into YouTube and all that, but man, it's kind of fun. I need to take a break, so I'm seeing stuff, and I actually read something really great today. A lot of stuff, a lot of ignorance, a lot of things that make no sense. To me, this is just my personal opinion, like everybody else, but, and one guy actually had a great kind of sort of idea and write-up. But what's interesting that he came to that conclusion, and then he wrote about his school. This is a Wing Chun school, and people are really putting it down, and I could see why people put it down, because there's a lot of stuff that's not happening correctly. So I'm going to go over that in the 4 parts of a school, any school, including a Wing Chun school, that I believe need to be there. And so I'm tying it to this. This is one piece of one of the 4 corners of training, and which is training on apparatuses, on things that give you a better sense of reality, of just a better sense of yourself, of what really happens and doesn't happen, what you can really do or not do. I keep bringing up the wrecking ball. If you're not hitting a heavy bag, then I don't know what to tell you. If you're not hitting the Mook Jong and building your arms and seeing just what it feels like and feel what pain, there's something that you never really read about is pain and the destruction and of working on a Mook Jong for years, and then what it does. I mean, granted, you have the other skills, timing, distance, angles, all that. And so, and natural skill or built skill, or you're in a school that teaches you skill, where you don't have any, in a sense, and you build up timing and that. But this builds something that it's kind of undeniable. And so ask anybody who's trained for a while, who really has trained on it and has been properly trained. So today's key point, key principle is forearm. So I did the wrist, so that's number 1. It's the number 1 key principle. I was showing like the hand and the wrist, but this is working on the arms. And as I don't call it blocks, or I call it counter striking or striking. Everything to me is a strike, because every time I hit the Mook Jong, it's a strike. You could say I'm blocking something, but you're actually building something powerful and building your arms into iron. And I read one article where someone said when you work on the Mook Jong, then later on you can cut through your opponents like hot butter, like a knife through hot knife through butter. And I kind of believe that. Now, there's one time I actually, someone, because you get challenges all the time, and you get all right, I don't want to get into the stupid comment thing, because that's not even a challenge, that's just ignorance. But in a school, tough guys will come down, or non-tough guys, they want to challenge, they want to prove, it's just what it is. It's the world, it's humans, it's the earth, it's the universe. And so, one guy came down, he was a boxer, and to Charlie Foot School. And did I tell the story? It doesn't matter. And so I was like, well, how can I? And he really wanted to know. And you could tell he wanted to know, but he was questioning, like, is this a joke? Do I want to join this? I'll just box your brains in. And I was like, well, this is different. And so he goes, well, what's that thing? And he pointed out the Mook Jong that we had. And just had one arm. That's why I have the arm here, just a single arm. And we'll get into that in a second. But I just had him put his arm out. And I just happened to be really working a lot that day. I was by myself in the school. And so I did the first thing we're going to do here on his arm, which is it's called a Kwang Kyu, or a low bridge, or it's not a Bong Sao. So people use the Bong Sao in the way that the Kwang Kyu is actually, Kwang Kyu is used more in Charlie Fight. It's very destructive. Everything's destructive in Charlie Fight. It's crushing, destructive. Again, nobody really talks about that, the old ways, and you have to train a certain way to be able to do it. You can't just like do a few moves and buy a uniform and say, hey, whatever. It just doesn't work that way. You have to put your time in, and pain and time. And so I did a Kwang Kyu on his arm, and I thought I heard it snap, and I didn't feel a thing. And I was like, wow. And he's like, holy, and he was like walking around just and I was like, he goes, you've convinced me. He goes, I know. People come in here and they want to know. They want to know, is this real? Is this just something out of a movie? Is it a joke? And it's pretty disrespectful in a sense, because you're trying to take something away from someone who's put time in. But then some places you could probably go in and probably walk all over everybody, especially boxers. The boxing thing. And so the thing about boxing, and I've been saying this, I'm going to do the video on it, is the training methods. And so even the guy who I liked what he wrote, I said, well, I have to agree with you, because he was saying it's you and how you apply things. I'm like, yeah, sort of. But if you are not training in a place that's teaching you certain things, offering you certain pieces of the puzzle, then how can you apply something that you're not doing and it's not being taught to you? So that's what all this stuff is all about. So I'm like just giving it away. I'm like, well, this is what I do. This is how I do it. So anyways, I have a little bit of a pull on my ankle, but I'm going to hobble on over here, and hopefully I didn't move the video camera too much. And I was trying to do the correct angles. And so you can see, let me see if it's correct. Maybe, sort of, kind of. I think let me turn this down just a little tiny bit. Let me see if that's a little bit better. I apologize, I'm just do these videos by myself. So anyways, I'm going to go over the arm training and some ideas on here. And one thing about it is the same old, same old. If you're doing this, go slow. Don't try to, get through all, become super master in like a day or two. It just doesn't happen. This is like grass growing or hair growing or something, or learning something. It just takes time, and you don't want to slam your arm even lightly, because you could get hurt, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you're trying to, it does matter, but that you're trying to get somewhere too fast. Don't let that matter. Just work your way up. So if you're new to the Mook Jong training, just take your time on anything I'm doing. So I'm going to go over the first low bridge, and I'm hitting with this area right here, and I wasn't really going to give the names, but I will. This is that low bridge I was talking about. So it actually is sending energy out, not like a bomb sound. This is no different. So it's Quan Q, and then Young Q, which is mirror hand, and then Jit. So here, I'm not hitting, which I showed in the first video, which was the wrist or the hand or the back, any part of the hand. It's more in here, and you can work your way all the way actually down here, which is pretty tender, but even just down from your wrist, where your wrist bends downwards, is this area that you're creating as a, and you could have bruises, but you're not trying to even bruise. You're building your way up with this. So I'm hitting low, Quan Q, Young Q, and Jit. Then I'm switching to the other hand, low, high, low. A lot of schools, the old Kung Fu schools, this is called Som Sing, or 3-star. I always thought, 3-star? What? And then you do this with somebody else. And our person, it goes all the way up to 9 stars. It's kind of a really cool, painful kind of interaction and training. You go, oh, either you do something like this or you don't. Not on a Mook Jong, but in our person. And then you look at your arm the next day and it has 3 bruises on the side, on top, and then on the other side, and go, oh, those are the 3 stars. So a lot of people don't know that. Som Sing is 3-star. So just 3-star, and we used to see who can go the longest, and who can take the pain, who can send the energy, and you start learning how to not absorb energy, but actually sending through rotation, but sending energy, chi, pain, whatever you want to call it, back at the other person. So that's what I'm doing here. Low, Quan Q, okay, and the Young Q, and then swinging back down to Jit. Jit is kind of a Gong Sao movement, but it's different. So this is Charlie Futt. Okay, so that's number 1. I might redo this video because it's getting pretty dark. And number 2, I'm working on the inside, very tender area, a lot of meridians. And I talk a lot about Chinese medicine. A lot of meridians on the inner side of your arm. And so the inside is a lot more tender than the outside. So you're going to be very careful, but I'm hitting and almost trying to have a parallel connection on the inside of the arm. So this one's angled a little bit. So I always have to swing around or shift. So with my left arm, I can make that direct, flat connection. Okay, so that's the second one. I'm just hitting it on the inside. And then the third one, and I think I can do this, is kind of the same idea, but I'm hooking. So I'm hitting the inside. I'm showing this hand, but I'm using it here. Inside. And then I'm just swinging around. It's not a move or anything, and it could be whatever you want it to be. Then I'm working on the outside. So I don't ever see anybody do this. And it's a parallel to the arm. Okay, the side. Then I'm going to go to the inside again. Then I'm going to rotate to the blade side. Okay, the blade side, and strike there, even all the way across. So inside, and then outside, and then inside, and then rotating Lan Sao or Dan Lan. It doesn't matter. To that, okay, to the blade side. Okay, so that's number 3. The first one was Quan Q, Young Q, Jit. The second one was just inside training, straight on. The third one I just showed you is hooking almost, and then alternating on the second strike from the back of the hand, the back of the arm I should say, to the knife edge, like all the way. So let's say you learn that move, but let's say you never train, and then you hit somebody else's arm, or you hit something by mistake, or you hit something soft, or a shin, or you go, ah, you put your arm down, for whatever it is. If you don't know how to send energy, or feel what the pain feels like, or go through the pain and learn how to send it, you're going to be in trouble. So, but once you do get past all those points, then you become somebody else. You become a different person that
people can comment about you and whatever and this and that, but no one can really understand. And I can tell you, anyone who does this, and please, if somebody does this and knows what I'm talking about, comment on it for me. Just make me feel good that you understand what is like that type of training the average person doesn't do. They would kill their hand right there on just what I just did. I guarantee it. They can't do it. And I've had people come here disrespectful and they hit and I was like, you shouldn't be touching that. That's sacred. That's mine, number one. You shouldn't touch anything of other people's stuff. But number two, you're just gonna hurt yourself. You can't just do something. You can't watch a movie and make it, it doesn't work that way. And so that's why I'm showing this. It's like, this is how to kind of accumulate and work your way up. All right? And so the third, I was just going through this before I did the video. So, and all the videos are unedited, so you hear me stumble and this and that. I watch videos where it's cut every 3 words. I mean, come on, whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna go Young Q, which I was doing, the mirror hand, so it's on the outside blade, and then jig, so it's almost the same thing we did in the very beginning. Below, I'm doing this on the body of my friend here. Young Q here, and then this one you're not gonna be able to see that well, but like I said, I'm doing all these out of Charlie 5. This is a Sao Choi, and so I'm doing it to the here. So the outside sort of in between the outside and the inside, but it doesn't matter. So even if you do rotate more, it's the back hand or the back side of your arm. And I think I used to know because I was a paramedic ventral, but anyways, the back side. And I'm hitting just like this to the back of the Mook Jong. And so Young Q, then low, and then I'm hooking around to the back and just giving a nice tap right in this area, right here. And you can do this, grapple, strike, grapple, jit. You know what, I think I was doing Dama, which is more flat. It doesn't matter. Here, jit, and then come around, and then strike with the back side. So Young Q, it is Dama. All right, so like I said, I forgot this, and who cares? But instead of a low, it should be flat on this one. So it's flat, just like I was doing here, hitting here. Okay. So out of the Wing Chun, I'm going low here out of Charlie 5. And I'm rotating in and hitting on, my hand should be flat, like I'm running it along the table. So I apologize for that. But now you could do it either way. You could do a jit. I did a jit down there, so change things. Jit. And then I should go lower because I hit closer to the wrist there. So low, high, low, and then I'm coming around, circling, striking on the back here. So you just got to Charlie 5 last. So Huang Q, Young Q, jit, and then on this one I was going Young Q, Don Long, same parallel or horizontal line, and then coming around, hitting the backside, doing a little pull here if you want, or don't. And you could do just like this all day long. Neighbors think you're nuts. You do a Sao Choi, twisting your waist a little bit, rotating through. I'm going to get into that. So nobody's ever talked about this. So I'm done with that. All right, foot did pretty good. So I'm going to talk about that for a quick second. Do I go all the way to the end and then rotate? Do I rotate and then go in? Nobody ever talks about this. Or do I rotate through and finally at the very end of the strike, the rotate is at the end. I'm sorry, it's through the rotation of the movement or the arc. I'm going through the arc and then ending. So do I go all the way through and then end up at the very end? That's one thing. Do I turn first and then go through? That's something. Or do I go through and rotate as I'm going through the Sao Choi? I've thrown millions of those.
So I start, when you throw enough stuff, you start thinking, oh wait, what am I doing? Well, maybe you do. What am I doing? Am I doing something at the beginning? Am I doing it at the end? In between? I have names for all that. So in an earlier video I said that I have a huge paper called The Anatomy of a Strike. There are so many things that you can start breaking down and looking at if you want to, and deciphering what makes sense, doesn't make sense, what someone might do. Again, I don't see very many people just really in boxing here, like I'm going to rotate, I'm pushing through and rotating for the, the cross, and so, so that might be one place. But a lot of people don't really talk about it. Maybe in blocks they do a little bit, or they just show it, but they don't really say, am I getting to the end and then rotating? So it's something, I'm not going to tell you, one way is better than the other, but it's something to think about. And I'm saying that because we're getting into some deeper parts of training on the Mook Jong, and this to me is deep of what I'm doing here, and training on your forearms. And so it's very important. All these rotations are it's like if you did a chili fight, you go, oh, there's so many, you're rotating, it's really good for you. Poon cue is like your whole, is your arm, your back, your hand, your wrist, circle block, so poon cue. And I never see anybody, I think that there was one video that someone was gonna, I didn't look at it, but I think they were gonna talk about it. I'm like, what? Finally? Because there's so much in chili fight, okay? So much. It's insane. It'll drive you nuts. And super cool. Super effective, deadly. Yeah, I said deadly. It wasn't meant for sparring and proving it and pressure testing and all that crap. It was meant for actually hurting somebody bad. But the training method is what's going to get you there. And this is so huge. I'm just going to keep promoting it. Maybe I shouldn't, but I am. And because I'm going to go to the next video, which is going to be grappling. So how I approach practicing grappling on here, and it's a 3-part method, and that's about it. Do I have something else on my mind? I don't think so. Oh, by the way, I haven't really reviewed this, but this is new, and it's amazing. So absolutely love it. Put $1 or $2 away in the cookie jar, in the Mook Jong jar, and save up. Unless you can just purchase one. Now, I did not purchase this on Amazon because the pictures did not match up, and I didn't have time to deal with something that weighs 5,000 pounds. I'm going to send it back, and blah, no way. So I went to eBay. Now, the funny thing is, eBay said this was supposed to be brown, but actually what I wanted was the natural, and I'm pretty sure this is the natural. So I'm like, for once a mistake went my way, or went the way of the customer, and so I kept it. But it's amazing. I absolutely love it. It's different than the old squarey over there that and I'm going to do some other stuff on that, but this is super, super great, and I like the ease of just being able to take off the arms and do what you want. Sometimes I take off all the arms, and I'm just using this more like a chili fight dummy. I decided to get like the dummy. And so, and it came with the pads, so that's nice. And it's just enough to feel it. Even if you want to do a punch, I think you could punch, I do sometimes, just to see what it feels like to punch the pad and to feel the wood behind it. And this does have a really heavy base. It's really heavy. It's solid wood. It's actually beautiful. And so when you're striking it, I'm going to be doing the tiger work on it. It'll give. So it's on smooth cement here on our patio, and it moves a little bit. A little bit, but it's nice to feel something move, as if you're trying. It's giving a little bit. So anything closer to reality is a great thing. And so that's what this is all about for me, and the promotion of it is closer to reality. And so anything that gets you there is a good thing, especially if you're training for self-defense and whatever that means. I call it combat, and I do not use the term fighting. People call it fighting. It's weird. Actually, I've been hearing sport combat. I'm like, I don't know. Sport and combat to me are a complete opposite ends. That's just me. I'm not trying to get an argument with anybody, but combat if you look into even like an old black and white movie, there was, I forgot what it was called, Green Beret or Combat. That was like going to war. Combat is war. If you look what the word actually, look it up. In sport, it's combative and hurting, but there's things you can't do. And combat is weapons, knives, guns, lasers, whatever, weird, Karimbit. I mean, that to me is that category. So we all have our, freaking thing, but combat is that. And I was going to talk about sort of what self-defense and combat kind of blends, sort of. And then, and there's people talking about it, so I think it's cool. I think it's great that's being brought up. It's like wonderful. I didn't realize. And then sport. So this to me is combat, and that's what one of the guys said today. A young man who's training in Wing Chun, but he talked about how he does it in school and his mentality on it, which is number 20, his mentality and of training, and this goes along with that. This isn't for sport. This isn't for playing around. This is big time, and that's my opinion. And so that's it. So anyways, another long video. I always try to go, I'm gonna do this in 10 minutes. There's no way. There's no freaking way. So my wife laughs at me all the time. So anyways, once again, this goes out to Simply Stupid. Just hurrah for you. Okay? Take care, and please have some great more subscribes. Make sure to hit the notification, because I'm going to keep putting these out. I probably have 10 years worth of information, so it's going to keep going no matter what. All right, have a great evening. Take care. Bye-bye.